Okay, summer school students, let's get right into it. No big intro today.
Right. Time is precious.
We're diving straight into your interactive vocabulary companion for Unit 1, Input 4.
Mm.
You gave us this list of words, and, well, our job is to unpack them.
Look at the meanings, the different forms, how they actually work.
Exactly. Think of it like sharpening your tools for understanding. So let's start with words about doing things. Action, effort, that sort of thing.
Okay, good place to start. Sets the pace. First up, we have accelerate.
Accelerate, and that's a verb. The companion says to move faster, to gain speed.
Pretty straightforward, yeah, like hitting the gas pedal.
Right. And it also gives us the noun acceleration.
Okay, so if you're accelerating hard, say you're running flat out, what happens physically?
Yeah, you might start to pant.
Pant, also a verb.
Defined as to breathe quickly with short, noisy breaths. You can almost hear it, can't you? That breathlessness after you really push yourself.
Definitely, and the kind of effort that makes you pant, we often call that strenuous.
Strenuous? Okay, that's an adjective,
Yeah.
meaning requiring a lot of effort or strength. So
Mhm.
like lifting heavy boxes or maybe a really tough workout.
Exactly. Those are strenuous activities. And to do something strenuous for a while, you need
Stamina.
stamina. That's the noun.
The companion calls it physical or mental strength that lets you continue doing something for a long time without getting tired.
It's that staying power, isn't it? Not just a burst of strength, but endurance.
Right. Strenuous tasks really chew through your stamina.
They certainly do. Now, very close in meaning to strenuous, we also have arduous.
Arduous, another adjective, defined as involving a lot of strength and effort.
So, similar to strenuous,
Mhm.
is there a difference?
I think arduous often feels like it implies difficulty over a longer time or maybe distance, like an arduous trek up a mountain.
Yeah, or an arduous task that takes weeks. It feels like it suggests persevering through ongoing difficulty.
Makes sense. Now, sometimes the effort isn't just because it's tough. You might be compelled to do it.
Compel a verb, meaning to force someone to do something.
Right. And that force could be external, like rules or, circumstances.
Or internal, maybe, like a strong sense of duty.
Yeah. An arduous climb might compel you to dig deep and find reserves of stamina you didn't know you had.
And speaking of internal forces, the companion lists urge here as a verb.
Yes, it does. Urge listed as a verb. And the definition is a strong wish or need, desire.
Which, sounds a lot like the noun an urge, doesn't it?
It really does. That definition is the noun urge. But, okay, the companion presents it as a verb with this meaning.
So how would that work? Maybe like, his hunger might urge him to find food. The feeling itself is doing the action.
I think that's the idea. The strong wish or need is the active force. Curiosity might urge you forward, that kind of thing. It's that internal push.
Okay, got it. So we're accelerating, panting, doing strenuous, arduous things. Maybe we're compelled or urged on. What's the goal often?
Well, often it's to attain something.
Attain, another verb,
Yeah.
defined as to reach a particular level, age, size, etc.
Yeah, but we often use it for achieving goals, don't we? Like attaining proficiency or attaining success.
Absolutely. And the companion gives related forms. Attainable and unattainable. Those are adjectives. Can it be reached or not?
And attainment, which is the noun, the achievement itself, or the act of achieving it.
Right. And attaining something worthwhile often takes that strenuous effort and stamina we talked about.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Moving from action to maybe states of being or qualities people or things have.
Sounds good. How about a word you see a lot in science or health contexts?
Aerobic.
Aerobic. That's an adjective, meaning relating to, involving, or requiring oxygen.
Like aerobic exercise, running, swimming, biking, where your body's using oxygen efficiently for energy.
Right. Okay, from physical states.
Yeah.
What about qualities you're just born with? That's innate.
Innate, yeah. An adjective. The definition is an innate quality or ability is something you were born with.
So not something you learned or achieved through effort. It's just part of you from the start. Exactly. Like an innate musical talent, maybe. Or some animals have innate survival instincts. The adverb form is innately.
And these innate qualities, they're a type of trait, right?
Perfect segue. Trait is a noun, defined simply as a distinguishing quality or characteristic.
So traits can be physical, like eye color, or part of your personality, like being patient. An innate ability is just one kind of trait.
Precisely. Now, a really important trait, especially when things get tough, is being resilient.
Resilient, adjective, meaning able to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions.
It's that bounce-back quality. Things go wrong, you face a setback, but you don't stay down.
Yeah, resilience helps you get back up, learn, adapt. Very important. The noun is resilience.
And if you are resilient, it really helps you to thrive.
Thrive, that's a verb, meaning to become very successful or very strong and healthy.
Plants thrive in the right conditions. People can thrive in supportive environments.
Resilience lets you not just survive the tough stuff, but actually thrive, maybe even because of it sometimes.
Well said. And building on that, if you're thriving in a particular area and doing really well, you might excel.
Excel, a verb, defined as to do something very well or much better than most people.
You excel at something specific, like maths, or excel in a general field, like research.
Right. And the companion gives the forms, excellent, the adjective, excellently, the adverb, and excellence, the noun.
So thriving can lead to excelling in certain areas.
Okay, changing perspective again. Let's think about how we perceive things, how clear or unclear they might be. Not everything is obvious, is it? Some things are quite subtle.
Subtle, adjective, meaning not easy to notice or understand unless you pay careful attention.
Like a subtle shift in mood or a subtle flavor in food, you got to tune in.
Exactly. It requires attention to detail. Now, if things aren't clear, maybe because the subtle clues are missing or conflicting, then it could be ambiguous.
Ambiguous, another adjective, defined as unclear, confusing, or not certain, especially because it can be understood in more than one way.
Ah, yeah. Like an ambiguous statement that could mean two different things, or just a situation where you're not sure what's going on.
Uncertainty. And the forms are ambiguity, the noun, the state of being unclear, and ambiguously, the adverb.
So when you're faced with ambiguity and you don't have the facts, your thinking might become speculative.
Speculative, adjective again, meaning based on guessing, not on information or facts.
Like a speculative news report or a speculative theory about why something happened. It's guesswork, basically.
Right, not solid evidence. The related words are speculation, the noun, the guessing itself, speculate, the verb, the act of guessing, and speculatively, the adverb. Ambiguity definitely fuels speculation.
It does. But sometimes, you pay attention to those subtle details, you work through the ambiguity, and what you find is just astounding.
Astounding, adjective, meaning so surprising that it's almost impossible to believe. Astonishing.
Yeah, like an astounding scientific breakthrough or an astounding view from a mountaintop.
Right. Right. A real sense of amazement. And all these things, we're talking about subtle clues, ambiguous findings, speculative ideas, astounding results they often relate to observing some kind of phenomenon.
Phenomenon, yes. A noun, defined as a fact or situation that is observed to exist or happen.
Could be anything, really. Natural phenomena like weather patterns or social phenomena like trends.
Right. And studying phenomena, especially subtle ones, often involves moving past speculation to find those, hopefully, astounding truths. Oh, and the plural is phenomena. Good one to know.
Okay, let's move on. How about words related to where things are, where they come from, how they spread out?
Good category. Distribution, origins. Let's start with spreading out. When things scatter over an area, they disperse.
Disperse, a verb, meaning distribute or spread over a wide area.
Like dandelion seeds dispersing in the wind, or maybe police dispersing a crowd.
Or information dispersing online. Yeah, and everything starts somewhere, right? It has to originate.
Originate, verb.
Yeah.
Defined as to come from a particular place or start in a particular situation.
A river originates in the mountains. An idea originates in someone's mind.
Exactly. The forms are origin, the noun, the starting point, original, the adjective, meaning first or earliest, and originally the adverb, referring back to the start.
Okay. And the places where things originate or disperse to, they have inhabitants, usually.
Inhabitant, noun, meaning one of the people who live in a particular place.
The inhabitants of London, or you could even talk about the animal inhabitants of a forest.
True, related forms. Inhabit, the verb to live there, and inhabitable, adjective, meaning suitable to live in.
And not all places are bustling with dispersed populations. Some are quiet, maybe hidden away. Secluded.
Secluded,
Yeah.
adjective, meaning not seen or visited by many people, sheltered and private.
A secluded beach or a secluded garden, somewhere off the beaten path.
The opposite of a crowded city square. And the physical size or layout of an area can affect dispersal and seclusion. Think about the span.
Span, that's a noun, defined as the distance from one side of something to the other.
Like the span of a bridge, right?
Mm.
Or the wingspan of a bird.
Yeah. Or you could talk about the span of a valley. A wide span might allow for dispersal, while a narrow, deep canyon might create a secluded spot.
It can also mean a length of time, like a lifespan or an attention span. Versatile word.
Okay, next cluster of words. These seem to be about relationships between things: power, balance, importance. First one, dominance.
Dominance, noun, meaning being more powerful, more important, or more noticeable than other people or things.
You hear this in ecology, like a dominant species.
Or in social dynamics, like one group achieving dominance. The related forms are dominant, the verb, dominant, the adjective, and dominantly, the adverb.
And sometimes the group that achieves dominance might be described as elite.
Elite can be an adjective or a noun. It refers to the best, most skilled, or most experienced people or members of a larger group.
Elite soldiers and elite university, the corporate elite.
Right. The idea is that they're somehow set apart at the top, and an elite group might dominate a particular field.
Now, when you have that kind of dominance, where one group or thing has way more power or resources, it can lead to disproportion.
Disproportion. Noun, meaning a situation in which two or more things are not equal in amount, level, etc. Imbalance.
So a disproportion in wealth distribution or a disproportion in time spent on different tasks.
Exactly, an imbalance. The related forms are disproportionate, adjective, and disproportionately adverb. Dominance often creates disproportion.
And if there is a disproportion or some negative imbalance, sometimes actions are taken to try and fix it, to compensate.
Compensate. Verb, meaning to replace or balance the effect of something bad.
Like if you work overtime, your employer compensates you with extra pay, or someone might try to compensate for a weakness in one area by excelling in another.
Good examples. It's about making up for something, trying to restore balance. The forms are compensation, the noun, often money, but also the act itself, and compensatory, the adjective.
Almost there. We're on the home stretch. This last bunch seems like a bit of a mix: location, intensity, thresholds, susceptibility.
Yeah, tying up some loose ends. Let's start with location again, but vertically. Altitude.
Altitude, noun, the height of an object or place above the sea.
Simple enough. High altitude mountains, the altitude of an airplane.
Right. Now, for intensity, a useful adverb. Immensely.
Immensely, meaning very much, extremely. Just makes things bigger or stronger.
Immensely powerful, immensely grateful, immensely difficult. The adjective is immense.
It's a strong intensifier. Okay, how about threshold?
Threshold, noun, defined as the level at which something starts to happen or have an effect.
Like a pain threshold, right? Or a boiling threshold for water.
Or even like crossing the threshold of a house, the point where you enter. Climbing to a certain altitude might cross a physiological threshold where your body reacts differently.
Good connection. And crossing certain thresholds might make you susceptible to problems.
Susceptible, adjective, meaning likely to suffer from a particular illness or be affected by a particular problem.
So if you haven't acclimatized, high altitude makes you susceptible to altitude sickness.
Or someone might be susceptible to flattery, easily influenced by it. The noun is susceptibility, vulnerability, basically.
And what makes someone susceptible in the first place? Sometimes it's an underlying predisposition.
Predisposition, noun, meaning a tendency to behave in a particular way or suffer from a particular illness.
So it's an existing tendency, often internal, like a genetic predisposition to heart disease.
Or maybe a predisposition to be optimistic or pessimistic. It makes you lean a certain way, increasing susceptibility to related outcomes.
Exactly. And where might that predisposition come from? Could be related to your ancestry.
Ancestry, noun, defined as the members of your family who lived a long time ago, your lineage, your roots.
Right. Ancestry can pass down genetic traits, which can include predispositions. Links back to innate qualities, too.
It all connects. Okay, one last word. A useful little connector. Thus.
Thus. An adverb, meaning as a result of something that you have just mentioned.
Basically like therefore or so, but a bit more formal, perhaps.
Yeah, it shows consequence. He had a predisposition. Thus, he was more susceptible. Or, the evidence was ambiguous. Thus, they had to speculate. Connects the ideas logically.
Wow. Okay, that was quite a tour. From accelerating right through to ancestry and thus.
We covered a lot. Actions, states, perceptions, where things are, how they relate, different influences.
It really shows how having the right word gives you precision, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's not just about memorizing for a test. These words are tools for thinking and communicating more clearly, understanding the nuances, the forms, That's where the power is.
Yeah, really engaging with these words from the companion, how they link up, their different flavors. It genuinely expands how you can understand things and express your own ideas. All right, summer school students, that brings us to the end of this deep dive into the Unit 1 Input 4 Vocabulary Companion.
Don't just leave them on the page. Try using them. Write a sentence. Explain one to a friend. Make them your own.
Good advice. And here's something to think about as you do that. How does learning more precise vocabulary, like really getting the difference between strenuous and arduous, or seeing the connection between ancestry, predisposition, and susceptibility, how does that change more than just your reading and writing?
Interesting question.
Does it actually change how you think, how you analyze information and see the world? Does expanding your vocabulary expand your very capacity for thought? Something to mull over as you continue your studies.